they have the time to read a resume if you put all your text in size 8 and you squished it in? Probably not. So make sure you keep things nice and simple for employers so that they want to spend that little bit of time reading your application. Okay?
I've got a question about formatting.
Yep.
I've heard that bullet points are really the only accepted kind of indicator of different points instead of, say, ticks and dashes. What's your feeling on that?
I totally agree with that. So with bullet points, so I'll just be like the little dots. That's good. Or hyphens. Keep it simple. Don't do stars, love hearts, ticks, or anything like that because it's a bit childish otherwise. So yeah. So keep it nice, clean, cut, nice, sleek resumes. Yep.
Respect. How do you make your resume stand out from everybody else's?
The quality of how it's written. So, for example, if you or how it looks. For example, I saw a resume just the other day. It was just tables, and just too much. Like it didn't make sense, and then if you do, for example, big long paragraphs, it looks like you're going on too long. So keep your resume nice and clean cut. Yep, simple, but the content of what you're writing should be good, like quality. Because it's not quantity, it's always quality of you as a person. So that's the answer to your question, yeah. And obviously, to attention to detail, consistency of how you actually format your resume. So, for example, if you're using bullet points, which is circles, make sure the whole resume has just that. No mix of hyphens and things like that. So that's another thing too. Some employers can be pedantic and they have an eye for detail. Yeah. Remove spelling errors as well. You've got to show that you're confident in writing. So that's resume lane. So that's pretty much it for resume writing as such. Yep.
With the resume, as you said, how you have the career profile, the career objectives,
Yes.
and then you go into
So I would swap them around. So objective at the top,
objects,
Yes.
and
and then
profile.
career profile underneath. Yep.
And then you have the history, qualification, referees. Where do you put your skills?
Your skills, you could slip it in probably, I'd say, between the career profile section. Yeah.
Okay. Between career objectives and career profile.
No, below that.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be like maybe the third one.
Okay.
Yeah, go. Yes.
What's your opinion on using like a cover letter to cover some of those? So rather than having like specific saying, just say, I would like to introduce myself as this is what I've done, like just roughly.
I would,
and then,
when you do use key skills, I just do it in dot points. Yep, so keep it really simple. Employers can see the key words, which make them think, okay, she's got high time management skills or works well at deadlines. In your cover letter, you should then expand on those and give, for example, an example of how you've done that.
so cover letter nothing first is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, so you have a cover letter. So
Yes.
anytime you send out your resume, make sure you have a cover letter, regardless of what job it is. Whether you're going for a McDonald's job as a ice cream server or something like that, as opposed to a graduate position, make sure cover letter's on there. Yeah. And your resume should complement your cover letter as well. So it should be tailored towards the resume as well.
Yeah.
So that both specifically go for the role or the industry you're going for.
Okay, because I've got like, your title page kind of thing, like a cover letter, and then I go into, things like the objectives, what my skills are, and previous employment history. Is that
Yeah, that's
the right
right.
list?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I would break down the skills sections maybe into IT skills, administration skills, people skills, something like that, so that they can map out and say, okay, you're actually multifaceted. Yeah.
Because I was just wondering, because like for mine, I don't explicitly say, I've got good time management, but I used to be in the army, so like things like that would say,
Discipline.
reading that you would already assume that. So
Yeah.
like I didn't feel that it was necessary to go back and talk about you. Are you saying should I then put the point saying I've done this?
Yeah, I
What
would.
it is?
Yeah, but because you had, so in your army, so you mentioned that in your, maybe were you working for the army? Yeah. So that would be in your employment history section.
Yeah.
And then in your cover letter, you would say what you did in the army.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and
I've
what
already
your
done that. I
skills.
was just wondering if like I should also then put the dot points in like.
In your resume, yes.
Yeah.
I think so. So for example, disciplined and able to follow direction.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it was like already kind of like explicitly
I'd
like if
mention
I should say it again.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Because then you can see the two always linked together. Yeah, and they complement each other. Yeah. Any other questions?
question about the cover letters.
Yes.
I find that I have to rewrite the cover letter every time for each job.
Yep.
Is that what you're supposed to do, or should you? Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Because you want to show that your cover letter has been thoughtful, and that you're actually going for individual employers rather than doing mass applications. Yes, and I think that's good because your cover letter is what's also going to make you stand out because you are telling them specifically what you want to do and what you will offer them as an employer. Yeah. By the way, everyone, this is Gabby, who is my intern at Exceptional Tuition and Resumes. So Gabby's coming to all the events which I do at the moment and doing PR and journalism. Yeah. So it's very nice to have him with. Did you have a question?
I was going to say, what was the length of the cover letter? Would you say?
1 page.
One.
Yeah. Keep it short and sweet because, as I was saying before, employers don't have much time to read. Yeah. If you are applying for government positions, sometimes they will ask for a 2-page or 3-page statement addressing selection criteria. So commonly, you would have to submit that particular statement plus a cover letter plus your resume. So it's a bit of time investment there, but obviously, the harder you work on your documents and the more thoughtful you are, the greater chance you're going to have at getting employment. So, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, everyone's good? Okay. Let's move on. So, let's talk about job searching strategies. I found this picture quite entertaining. It's got a guy that says, job wanted, history, graduate, interview me. And then this one is funny. Prepare to work for first month free, then hire or fire me. Now, what does that tell you about this individual? Yeah?
So he's very good looking for heaps of jobs and obviously finding hard, so he's prepared to go to that kind of measure.
Yeah.
But it could also be that he's kind of down to earth. He realises that, like...
It's got to connect.
Yeah. That it might be hard to find jobs and this way it gets some attention, but he's willing to work for free pretty much because he knows at least that will get his foot in the door.
Yeah, that's right. And he's a giving person, isn't he? Because he's willing to sacrifice 1 month of his time in exchange for the potential employment. So I think someone like that, if I saw someone walking down the street and they came to me and they said, would love to learn how to teach, willing to train for 2 months or something like that, I'll probably give them a chance. Because I think they are looking outside the box. They're showing that they are creative as well. They're showing that they're not afraid to put themselves out there and be in front of people as well. Because it's a confidence thing, isn't it? To be able to walk. Put your hand up if you would actually do that. No one? Yeah, Jessica, you would do?
Yeah, I would do if I felt that way.
Yeah. You would definitely turn heads, that's for sure, isn't it? And after you turn the head, that's when you can give your resume to an employer who approaches you on the street.
I haven't done it in the street, but I've sent emails to similar effect.
Yep, something different.
Giving free time just to have opportunities to work.
Yeah.
That's a good option. I've known people who choose to, use that strategy.
Yep.
And haven't been turned away and have great jobs out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because they are looking for the employers themselves, aren't they? They're not waiting for someone to hand them a job on a silver platter. You have a question?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, if we put something like that in our resume, it's not professional really because it's real brief and to the point, but it may catch their eye. Like, would you suggest okay to put that on your resume?
I'll
On
probably
the cover letter?
maybe on the cover letter. Yeah, like you obviously keep the language still a little bit formal to show you're professional and you can write, but the resume would sell you a little bit more because it would show that okay, this is your key skills and the assets that you bring. So yeah, so doing things a little bit differently is very important. I remember when I was a graduate and I had a dual career. But after I graduated, I worked for IBM in consulting, and how I actually got that job is okay. You know how big IBM. You know how many people compete to get into that company. What I actually did is I found a job which they were advertising, and then I found an error in the advertisement and actually pointed it out to them. And the person who was hiring actually loved that ability that I actually sort of went beyond the general application. And I said to them that even though I'm not interested in this job, because it wasn't really of interest to me, can you keep my resume in case something does come up in the area of human resources? And they did. And it took about 6 months later, I got a call out of the blue IBM saying, would you like to come work for us? Because we remember your application. So how's that? I found a small little error, and that's what they enjoyed. So that was something I did different, and I actually went looking for a job, and they gave me the job, and I didn't have to go through the typical selection process of graduates. Like with IBM, like it's a really great company, I think, and how they recruit is they do the application letters and resume collection, then they do the group assessments, which is where you have to compete against people in the same room, and then you have to sit in front of 5 different board members and 5 different interviews to try to get through, because they want the best of the best. Because of my strategy and what I did of coming in it through a different way, I was able to actually skip all that nonsense and get a job myself. So that's what I'm trying to say. When you're looking for jobs, think of how can you be creative or different from the rest of the people who are in your cohort. Okay, so I've come up with some other ideas for you. Also, before you actually get into the job searching side of things, I think it's important to think of this pyramid. Maybe it might be useful to draw this pyramid. Self-assessment. So when we do self-assessment, we're basically looking at ourselves and thinking, what can we as an employee offer someone based on our skill set? So it's important to look at your personal strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you've probably heard that in business before, I'd say. SWOT analysis. Yeah. So do a personal SWOT analysis on yourself so that you can identify, what you have that can then complement your interests in a job. After you've identified what you would be suited for, then it's important to look at exploring the industry. So thinking about, what are the kind of jobs which may complement your interests. So, for example, I had an interest in employment. I was very passionate about it. I had an interest in education as well. So I combined it together and started my own company instead. Because I didn't really want to work for a boss, did I? So that was something. I enjoyed public speaking. Found it pretty easy, pretty relaxing actually, kind of like meditation. So this was interesting. I found my niche through working on a SWOT analysis, personal SWOT analysis. Next side was focused plan. So when you're going for a job, you've got to think about, okay, what is your intention? Like, are you planning on having a family while you're young? Are you looking for work-life balance? Are you working for a job that gives you the opportunity to travel around the place? So all these sort of considerations make the difference in what kind of roles you're actually going to apply for and what kind of employer. So with IBM, I actually was very specific, and I really wanted to work for them because at the time they had won 9 awards in being an employer of choice for women. So straight away I knew a company like that would support women working in a men's industry. So that was really important in the job search side of things. And then job search is what kind of strategies you would take to find your ideal position at the time. So it's normal. Like after you finish university, you may actually decide that you don't want to work for someone else. Maybe you want to work for yourself. Or you may want to change companies and test something out. But there's no problem with testing the waters because eventually you will find your ideal career. Okay. So here's a little diagram of some classic job searching opportunities. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through each one of them to give you an idea. So first of all, point number 1, write and apply to employers directly. So this strategy is you being proactive, you basically putting yourself out there on paper, saying, will you hire me? Because this is what I can do for you. So there's a thing called expression of interest. And basically it's just like the cover letter where you are saying that you would like to apply for potential jobs. So maybe a job doesn't exist, but you have an interest in working for the company, or you have an interest in working in a particular kind of job role. So that's important. If you cannot apply online due to technical malfunction, why don't you just go straight for the manager and email them directly and say that you would like a job? So I'll give you an example. Someone who surprised me was Gabby. So, what was it, a couple of weeks ago? I did a seminar in the PR program, was it? Yep. And Gabby approached me straight after the event and said to me, I would like to come work with you. And I was like, wow, that's a nice compliment. So as soon as I got her resume, I straight away, yep, she's in. So she was very, very proactive and so instead of emailing, because she got the opportunity to see me in person. So if you get the opportunity to be with an employer in person, go straight for them. But if you can't, get their email address and contact them anyways, I think. Okay. Next one, target your cover letter and resume. So we actually mentioned this before. Make sure that they suit the roles that you're applying for. Third point, find a mentor or interview someone who is in your industry. Now, this is pretty important, I think, because a lot of jobs these days are based on who you know, not what you know. So I think it's actually a combination of the two elements, because you need to have some kind of skill or background prior to applying for employment. But being able to ask the questions about the industry or the jobs so that you come across as someone who's knowledgeable. Asking people whether they know someone who has a contact, because if you can get that credibility behind you, that someone will back you up and say, yeah, this person's a good potential employee, well, that's going to look nice on paper, isn't it? So, and once they get your resume, that should support their recommendation that you are a good potential employee. So it's very important to consider this interview, and you might want to ask a couple of people in your industry just to, open up your opportunities in multiple areas. Another one is to speak to the recruiter directly. So to give you my example of when I was working at IBM, so I actually, when I spoke to the recruiter about the area in which I found the job, I told them straight up that, yes, I really would love to work for IBM. And I told them about my ability to be graduating shortly, so that they knew that I was eager to work in the company. Because if you can express your intentions with a passion and show that, yeah, you are serious, you're not just looking for a job, cash in hand job on the side, then you have a greater chance of getting in. So make sure you make yourself known, not in an aggressive manner, but in a manner that shows that you really want to work for them. Because I think that's so important. Okay, so with jobs, obviously there's different kinds of jobs which you may be applying for. So at the moment, probably some of you will be looking for part-time jobs or casual jobs whilst you're studying. So I think, Gumtree is alright. I know people have mixed feelings on it, but, some of the jobs there, if you can get a part-time job with flexible hours, why wouldn't you take it? You know what I mean? Because, to be honest, it is better to work than, say, being on study allowance, because you can earn more if you do work. You said seek.com. Shop windows, for example, if you walk in Surfers Paradise, for example, you sometimes see it, or in shopping centres, Robina, things like that. Yep. Sometimes you see a retail job assistant advertised. Facebook of companies is becoming a very popular avenue to advertise. So what I do is I'm not sure if you've seen the Exceptional Tuition and Resumes Facebook page, but I have a lot of contacts across the Gold Coast who will always, on their own Facebook page, will post a job. So what I do is I ask my contacts whether I would be able to post their job on their behalf on the website. So often every day you'll see a new job posted on the Exceptional Tuition and Resumes Facebook page. So that's become a hub for jobs, and a lot of people will advertise on Facebook. It's also a cost-effective mechanism too, rather than Seek. Because advertising on Seek, it costs about around $200 from what I've heard from agencies, and I think $200 or free Facebook. What do you think? So that's why it's very popular. Facebook business group pages is also important. Sometimes, how you can join a group on Facebook, yeah? Sometimes people may advertise that they're looking for someone just in an informal manner, and then it's up to you as a potential employer just to make contact, see whether it's for you, and then go for it. Yep.
What do you mean by business group page? Can you give us an
Yep, so there's a page which I'm on at the moment. It's called Queensland Business Group. And yeah.
I think that's like, I don't know, like a retail group, it's like retail association or something like that.
Yeah. So, you got the search box in Facebook. Sometimes people will create groups, especially for different businesses of a different kind. So what you should do that even though you don't work in the industry, just join a group anyway, because you never know if a job pops up suddenly. Yep, because you usually have the first point to apply, isn't it, on Facebook? And the word of mouth too is very important. So when I recruit for tutors in exceptional tuition and resumes, I tend to ask my team at the moment, do you know someone who would be a good tutor? You know me? Because I believe in recommendations. I believe in that principle of it's not just what you know, it's also who you know. So often people will know people who are good and they'll refer them to me. So definitely word of mouth, very powerful. Whilst you're studying for full-time jobs, again, the same methods. Also networking your way to positions is pretty important. So if you can that you're looking and it gets into the right person's ears, that's a good thing. And also, if they don't know a job that's available straight away, ask them to maybe refer you in the future. Okay? So when you're looking for a job, it's important to not be aggressive, but to just declare that you're interested in the job. So that's a good strategy, I think. With graduate positions, so most of you or some of you are graduating. Put your hand up if you're graduating soon. Yeah? Okay, so that's pretty exciting. Do you see the light? Yeah. I think it's a good step. It's a new step. You're out of the safety zone after this. So I think, like, the Griffith Careers Board, I think it's very useful because the uni has a lot of good contacts. I also think that the UniGrad website is fairly good. Also going for companies which you particularly want to work for. So maybe you have actually thought in your mind which company would be a great employer and going straight to their careers section and then in the search box going for graduate positions and applying directly through them. I usually would skip going through recruitment agencies because I'm not sure if you're aware, but some recruitment agencies are just sales oriented. So they get paid to put you into a job. If you can deal with the employer directly when you're applying, that's going to be your most effective strategy, I think. So there's a couple of ideas of locations of where to get employment. And remember, you won't stand out unless you have an exceptional resume. You've got to make sure your resume is spot on. It doesn't have to be pretty, but it's got to be accurate and well written and a really nice depiction of what you bring as an employee. And make sure you look for jobs in the right places at the right time and network. Because I think networking is so important. Now, any questions so far? No? Okay. Let's move on to now finding unadvertised positions. So these are the jobs which you don't actually see advertised in the newspaper or on Seek. Would you guys agree that Seek is probably the most common website you go for? Yep. It's got a good reputation overall, but remember everyone else thinks the same thing too, don't they? So they'll just jump on there and you're competing against more people. So here's some ideas that I've come up with to help you. First of all, let's just look at the little diagram before we start. As you can see, the position of hidden jobs is much bigger than what's actually advertised. So even though a job may not be advertised on Seek, there's a very good chance there's another job somewhere in the pipeline. And you don't necessarily have to start in a business in your ideal job. You can always move there gradually, isn't it? And you acquire skills. With jobs, we're saying networking is very important, along with this element of creative positions. Now, what do we mean by creative positions? It means a position comes up because you probably suit the industry. So sometimes if you're clever and you can sell yourself in a resume, sometimes an employer may make a job up for you. And that's a pretty good position. Internet ads, that's where Seek will come in, and recruiters. So plenty of recruitment agencies around, but I would probably avoid them at all costs at the moment. So, as I said before, make sure you declare your intentions straight up in your resume and in your cover letter to demonstrate that you know what you want and you're willing to get it. And and you're willing to give as an employee. So how do we network? Well, I first of all say network like crazy, because that's where you get the unadvertised jobs. They're the ones that will get you there quickly. These are the kind of jobs where you will be able to stay in the industry rather than have to jump industries. So, you guys heard of LinkedIn? Yeah? Who's not on LinkedIn? Okay, make sure you sign up for LinkedIn. Create a little profile. Doesn't matter if you're still a student. Start to put yourself out there. With LinkedIn, there's different methods that you can indicate your intentions for employment. So first one I've said here is update your status. So in LinkedIn, you usually have like your name and then your current position and then a daily status, kind of like Facebook. So in your status, you might say, currently completing a Bachelor of Business, on the hunt for a consulting job in IBM, something like that. So that you say straight up, this is what you're going to do. It's kind of like your career objective section in your resume, but in a condensed format. So put it straight up there that yes, you are hunting, but don't look desperate. Whatever you do, don't look desperate. Make sure you sound professional at times. In your summary, so in LinkedIn, on the very top section, it'll allow you to write about what your career history is. So that's where you're going to sell yourself there, similar to your resume. So you might even copy and paste from your resume, your profile, and put it straight in there. Your headline as well, on the very first page of LinkedIn. Make sure you put your intention and what you are kind of looking for. Join relevant groups. So, for example, because Exceptional Training does course writing for different colleges, I've joined quite a few vet industry groups. Vet is the vocational education tertiary, so like TAFE, things like that. So, so I've joined those groups. So if someone wants to find me, they'll see my name in that group and they'll think, okay, yes, she can do this. Why don't we interview her for a contracting role, something like that. So it's very important to join groups and be in discussions as well. So when you join groups on LinkedIn which are relevant to your ideal job, be active. Maybe comment or like a picture or like a status, something like that, to show that you're always out and about. Do you know what I mean? That you're always involved in a situation. What was it? Facebook. So Facebook, obviously it's natural to like business pages which are of interest to you. So if you know pages which are related to employment, so I was saying to you before, the Exceptional Tuition and Resumes pages is where we post a lot of resume writing tips and jobs from contacts from the Gold Coast and Brisbane. So a lot of people like that page because they want to know about the jobs first. Updating a status. So sometimes you might, it depends, like if you're confident enough on your daily status, you might want to put something like, currently looking for a graduate job, let me know if you hear of anything, something along those lines, to drop the hint that yes, you are looking for a job in a good way, but don't be desperate. Observe your friends' updates, because sometimes your friends may know someone who's got a job going. So what do? Contact your friend. You ask your friend, is this person legit? Is this a real job? And then you contact the person who they've listed on their profile. So you obviously do your little due diligence to see whether the job is real as well, because there are a lot of scams around the place as well. So try to be careful there. And as the, like employment pages and join employment groups. So Facebook is really good for jobs now these days because this is the most cost-effective form of employment. Twitter can be useful sometimes because some employers may put it in their own status that they are looking for particular people or they're hiring for a one-off job. So sometimes if you like enough companies, you might just accidentally spot a job one day and your chances of going for that job is going to be higher, isn't it? Because not that many people realise the power of Twitter in that side. And then Google Alerts. Has everyone heard of Google Alerts before? Yeah, you have? Okay, so Google Alerts, you can sign up for it and basically they can email you any jobs which they see on the internet. So it's a bit more to it. It's not really as popular as other social media, but these are some of the key areas where unadvertised classic jobs are. So definitely look after that and look for, these are the ways to network in an online capacity. people know that you're flexible. Because I think we live in this day and age where being a flexible employee is really valuable, along with being a committed employee and being a high-performing employee. So make sure when you meet potential employers or potential contacts who may know someone that you say, yeah, I'm willing to travel with my job, maybe short-term or long-term, depending on what the employer wants. Tell your friends and family as well, because they may know someone. Because, the Gold Coast is a pretty small location. So the chance of people finding out that, yes, you're on the hunt and you are good at your job or you are good in a particular area will flow very fast. Meet event organisers and key people at community events. So actually approaching people after an event has happened, if you're interested in them, because as I said before, you've got to make yourself known. So that's a good thing. And going to trade fairs and conferences, and maybe having like a little business card. Has anyone got a business card or a student card? Yes, I think I've seen yours before. Yep, is a really handy little thing, because at least the person can take your details away, so then if later down the track they have a sudden position come up, and if you've made a good enough impression on them, then they will be able to help you. So definitely in person is fairly valuable, and sometimes networking in person can be your way to even avoid the interview process, because you've already done it. You've already set the impression. You know how employers make up their mind about you over 1 minute, or even less sometimes? So meeting them casually in person can be the way to get into a company. The other idea I was thinking is following up past interviews. So sometimes maybe you've gone for a really cool role, but you've missed out. But why not contact the employer a little bit down the track and check to see whether any jobs have popped up? Because what does that show to an employer, do you think? Commitment, yep. Determination.
Interest of the company.
Yep. You're not afraid of rejection. That's important, isn't it? Because remember, if you're dealing with customers and you're in a maybe sales capacity, you have to be able to face rejection in a positive manner. So follow up. And again, don't be aggressive. Just be sort of direct and honest and calm at the same time. So, yeah, very important. And they may, as I said before, create a role for you down the track if they think that you have what it takes to suit the company culture. And does everyone understand when we say company culture? We're talking about the environment, the kind of expected behaviours, the way that people behave in an organisation. If you have an ideal culture, then more likely they're going to hire you. Cool. Okay, we're almost there. I thought this billboard kind of made me laugh as well. So it says, be different and demonstrate your creativity. So isn't this funny? Like, employ Adam. Well, I reckon this guy's a genius, because he's showing that, yes, he is serious, isn't he? But he's still got a sense of humour too, isn't it? And I think the fact that he is willing to put his own cash on the line and do this is a bit out there, isn't it? But who wouldn't turn to a billboard like that? Would you hire him? I probably would, because he's invested something to get a job, and that really shows commitment as an employee. So yeah, that was a pretty good one. So I think it's when you go for your job hunting to think of how can you be different, how can you be creative? Yep. And then after you make that first impression, then your resume straight into the company. So very good. Okay. Now this last section is pretty basic, pretty simple. I'm thinking with interviews, it's most important just to be yourself. I think who enjoys interviews here? Sometimes, yeah. What do you like about interviews?
Well, if you're a person who likes you're selling yourself,
Yep.
it's interesting when you listen back on what you said to know your own strengths and weaknesses, because sometimes you learn things about yourself.
Yep, exactly. Sometimes I find interviews are like a game. You know what I mean? Like if you can work out the interviewer quickly and identify, okay, are they serious? Are they lighthearted? Do they like family? Something like that. And then when you actually talk to them, you kind of sway the conversation a little bit towards that, yeah, to make the impression. Because I think you can't underestimate the power of sense of humour, because you don't want to be working with people who are too serious, yeah. too is important because it shows that you are comfortable as a person. So put your hand up if you feel fairly comfortable in your own person at the moment. Yeah? Has it been something that's taken a couple of years to develop? Yeah? Being put into different situations? Here's the way you can build some confidence as well. You know, business networking events? Go to events on your own. That is going to be the one thing that's going to show how confident you are. Because I remember when I was working at a college once upon a time, they used to get me to go to all sorts of business events pretty much every week. And I was amongst all these suited men, 50-something, whatever, or CEOs. But I never really got scared. I thought, this is kind of fun. I'm the only young woman in the environment. Let's see how we play, let's how we roll. So that was a nice little test, and because I was doing it so often, it became second nature to me. So has anyone else done something like that? Yeah, what have you done?
Oh, I remember, it's not like a business one, but the first time my friends told me to go to the movies by myself. That's so stupid because you just always go with people. It's just like you for a birthday or a weekend or whatever. But the first time you go by yourself, you don't. You're like, oh, everyone's gonna judge me because it's such a situation, and then you go, and you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Like, it's just a small thing, but you realise that you can do things by yourself. You're not worried about people judging you. You can just do whatever you want. So.
Yeah, exactly. What about who's taken themselves out to dinner on their own? Yeah, you done that yet? How did you feel, Gabby?
That was horrible because the waitress told me, he was like, "You're alone?" Yeah, just one person. He's like, "The whole night?" I'm like, "Oh, how is it your business?" So wasn't that pleasant?
Yeah, exactly. I remember I did that once. I actually did it last year, and the waiter said to me, "Have you been stood up?" So I was all dolled up and everything. But it made me laugh because I was comfortable on my own. So did you do that too? Did you say?
No. I wouldn't do that. I'd be scared someone would think I was stood up too.
A bit antisocial. Yes, yeah.
Sort of like throwing yourself in the deep end. I actually found I spoke to more people than I would have if I had a friend with me.
Yeah.
Because it forces you to sort of network and you don't want to be all alone.
Yeah.
So you just sort of want to start talking to people, and then you feel more confident after you've spoken to a couple of people.
Yeah. I even think another idea would be funny is to go and do a Latin dance class on your own. How's that? Probably stick out like a sore thumb. But the chances of you meeting more people is going to be higher, isn't it? Because you're out of your comfort zone and you're forced to be yourself, isn't it? And the thing is, I think it's important to not be afraid of other people and not, if you straight away sense that someone is judging you, just walk away from them. You don't have to be in their company, do you? It's a choice thing. So being honest and comfortable with yourself is really good. And once you establish that in a personal sense, then you should be able to perform well in an interview because you're going to show your true colours to the interviewer. And if you find an interviewer who likes you, well, then they're going to be a good employer, aren't they? Because they've seen you as you are. Being honest, I think it's very important. So the lady in our class before mentioned about having a child and taking the time off. So I think it's important to be straight up and say, yes, I took time to have a child, but now I'm back to come back to work. If you, for example, if an employer asks you a question like, have you ever had conflict at work? Well, sure you have. Who hasn't had conflict? Can you tell me, really? So they may ask you a question in an interview, for example, can you give me an example of a conflict situation and how you dealt with it? So what you would do is you would describe the conflict situation, and then you would, in a positive manner, describe how you dealt with it in a positive way. Because you don't want to say that you scream and shout and went crazy, because that would be pretty bad. But if you can show that you were able to work well with someone and resolve a conflict quickly, that's a good trait to have. Can you think of another hard kind of question someone might ask you in an interview? Yeah.
Like, what are your negative aspects in you? Like, I think that's the hardest question, and I've been thinking about that for a few years, and I still don't have an answer to that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's SWOT analysis I was talking about. Yeah, everyone, you guys should all do this. Go home tonight and do a little SWOT analysis on yourself, and do it really honestly, so you pick apart your weaknesses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the weakness is not always a bad thing. You know what I mean? I think it's important to be aware, self-aware. Like, I guess one of my weaknesses, which which I had for many years, and I'm getting through it now. It's fine. Is I'm a bit of a workaholic, like because I love what I do. I'm always working. Like at one stage in my life, I was working about 100 hours a week, and I was burning out, and that's a kind of a wake up call when you get a little bit unwell because you run down. So I would in interviews I would tell employers straight up, I'm a workaholic, but because I love my job. See how I turn that into something positive? Yeah. So now, as some people who are on my Facebook will see, I like singing and I like playing piano, teaching myself piano. This is how I'm winding down this workaholic side by doing something social. So I think it's important for you guys too to find a hobby or something you really enjoy and do it, make time for it, because that's how you're going to balance out your career life and your study life as well. So, what else? Study the company website the night before. Now, who usually does that? Yep.
Not the night before.
when would you do it?
Oh, well, when I went for the army job, you had to know a lot of things. So, obviously, you had to know, like, well and truly months beforehand. Basically, like other product services, what you'll be doing, things like that.
Yeah. So it shows you've done your homework, isn't it? So that you're not walking in and you're just looking for a job that's cash. You know what I mean? Employers want people who want to work for their business and do a good job. So I think it's important, products and services. What is the values of the company? What does the company offer employees? So are they a company which supports diversity? You guys know when we say diversity, meaning that they like to hire people from different countries, different genders, different ages, things like that. Check out maybe the company culture as well, because usually you might see it like the vision of the company or the About Us section. This is very valuable because you need to work out whether, okay, do you want to work for this company and do you think you'll fit in? Because that'll also help you perform better in the interview if you have that clearness in your mind. So make sure you study the company. They may ask you too, like a random question, what do you think you can do for the company? So what makes you an ideal employee, something like that. And that's where you've got to know straight away your strengths and then know how that fits in with the company culture itself. Has anyone thought about that? Yeah. Because you have to sell yourself. The interview is the easiest part. It's just getting to the interview. It's the hardest part. What else? Oh, and knowing also customers and competitors as well, because you've got to think about who would the company be dealing with on a regular basis. And do you want to deal with those kind of people? Like, do you think they would be a good audience, or would they be painful? So important to consider these things when you're going for jobs. Another point: be conservative and sort of modest in your outfit, because I think for women, like you don't want a top that's too low and your boobs are popping out, because it's a bit embarrassing if you're sort of shifting your top trying to keep the girls in. So make sure you dress nicely. Make sure when you have a dress that it's about. If you're going to do short, just make it just above the knee, like a little bit. If you're going to wear a skirt, don't wear a long skirt which is restrictive and you can't actually walk into the interview, because this is going to hinder the way you actually perform in the first couple of seconds when you walk in. So you've got to think: is what you're wearing practical? Another thing that makes me laugh is when I see girls in like these really giraffe heels. Have you seen them around? And they can barely walk. So imagine if you were to almost stack it when you walk into an interview. Would that embarrass you? Yeah. So make sure when you have shoes, make sure that your heels are like 3 inch, something like these ones I got here. They're my little short heels. About as high as I go out dancing in as well. So if you can, a general rule, if you can run in the heels, then you can interview in the heels. So that's something. For the boys, I would say make sure you always have a nice collared shirt, so that's important. Make sure maybe your shirt has buttons. Wear a belt. Make sure you've got cologne and deodorant, because no one wants BO in an interview. It's off-putting. Make sure you are shaven as well, because you've got to think: are you professionally presented, and would an employer or their customer want to deal with you? I had a guy come to interview with me once, and he rocked up in thongs and shorts and singlet, and I was just like, no, thank you. And so, interview was only 10 minutes, and that was it, because I wasn't going to allow him to represent my company if he is dressed like that. It just doesn't show professionalism. So you've got to think: can you appear professional to going for a job, doesn't matter whether it's a casual job or a full-time job, you will probably be asked first or second question, tell me a little bit about yourself. Have you guys had that before? Yeah? Have you ever fumbled a bit prior to describing yourself?
That's the hardest one. You don't know where to start. You don't really know what to say. You don't know what they want to hear as well.
Yeah, that's right. Because this is the blank canvas part, isn't it? Like the employers seeing you on paper, but they want to know whether you can actually speak confidently about yourself. If you can toot your horn a little bit without sounding over the top. So I would probably say, because you're studying, I would start with, at the moment I'm studying a Bachelor of Business at Griffith University. At the moment I am about, 6 months or 2 months from graduating, and I'm kind of looking for a job which will complement my degree, because you've got to steer it towards education. You would say, at the moment I'm also working or I'm not working, but I am looking for whatever. So see how you straight away say your intentions straight up, because you want the employer to know, like, why are you there? What is your real reason? I would try to stick to the professional side of things at first when you are giving your introduction, just so that they kind of see you as a professional in the first minute. But along the line they may suddenly ask you, do you have any travel interests? And then that's when you can start to elaborate on personal attributes. Because I think it's fine to talk a little bit about personal things, but not over the top. Do you know what I mean? But you'll suss that out from the employers, right? Yeah.
How long, because if you're on a telephone interview,
Yeah.
and they ask you to tell me about yourself, how do you know how much you should tell and when you should stop, because you can't really look at them?
I would determine whether the person says yes, or okay.
Answers you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if they just leave it silent,
Yeah.
it's a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would base it on whether they are responsive or not. And you'd also, in the face-to-face capacity, determine whether the person is smiling when they interview you or whether they are too serious. Because if they're too serious, you know that either one, they're trying to intimidate you straight up, because this is a tactic that employers do, or two, they actually don't really care about you. so you got to suss them out. And this skill comes from being emotionally intelligent, meaning that you can read body language, you can read gestures, things like that, face expressions, things like that. So it would pay a bit of benefit to you to maybe start to teach yourself a little bit about emotional intelligence and how you manage other people, because that's what's going to separate you from being in an interview for, say, 15 minutes as opposed to 1.5 hours. So, yeah. So let's practice your background summary. So mention something good about yourself. Maybe if you've achieved something really good or you've done something exciting, you may want to mention that just off the top of your head. So I think that's important. And also, I know the 6 points sounds a bit funny, but talk to yourself in the car on the way to the interview. Or I would sing, in my case, an 80s rock song and blast it out in the car. Because, hey, you have to psych yourself up for interviews, isn't it? You don't want to go in there and you're nervous as heck. I know probably your people who are in the cars next to you are probably looking and thinking, look at that crazy person talking to themselves. Or look at that stupid girl nodding her head and shouting, But this is things to get you into the mood, isn't it? Because you've got to be able to walk in and have that, charismatic appeal about you, that you're in a good mood, that yes, you want to be there. Yes, you can talk positively to other people without fumbling with nervousness. So I think it's important to prep yourself before an interview. If you are not going to interview in a car, so you don't have the opportunity to be in your little bubble, and you say you're going on a train, I would try to talk to someone on the train to get you in a social mood. Do you know what I mean? So because you want to warm up at the same time your vocal cords as well, so that you feel comfortable and you're not going to choke to death in the first 1 minute. You also want to be able to warm your body up as well, because you don't want to be freezing cold and very stiff in that first interview process. You want to be able to put your hand up and say, hi, my name is Bella. It's great to meet you. You know what I mean? You want to be social, as if you're meeting your friends for the first time. So that's why it's important to prep yourself for an interview. So I guess that's my basic advice on how to be confident in a first minute or so for the interview. Do you have any questions in general? Yeah.
How would you answer the question if they ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or
Yeah. I would be straight up and upfront and say, I would absolutely love to be a manager in this business. Something like that.
in a time frame of only 5 years?
Or
is that
less.
what- Oh, yeah.
Yeah, less. Or you could say something like, I would love to push my career as far as I can go. Yep. I'd like to have many different experiences. I'd like to be a leader because I love working with people. I love innovating. Focusing on your strengths, I guess, what else is? Yeah. Because then if you can indicate that, yes, you've thought about the future, that shows that you're a planner. Yeah. And you got to think, some of you, who in here has thought about becoming a manager or a business owner one day? Things like that. Yeah. So make that note that, but if you're intending to start your own business, and it could be a competitor to the job which you're in, don't actually say that. Like,
Did you say you want to be a manager in that company or whatever?
Yeah.
In that company?
Yeah. Because you don't want to come across as a competitor, because straight away the bars come up and they won't hire you. So, yeah. Any other questions? No, that's cool. Okay, well I think I'm pretty close to the end. Let me have a check. Yes, I am. Cool. So, yeah, thanks everyone for allowing me to talk to you today. I hope I've given you some pretty upfront and honest tips. Yeah. Did you guys look at a pen and a little brochure, things like that? Yeah. So if you, as I was saying before, if you are looking for some jobs, look at the Exceptional Tuition and Resume Facebook page, which you can like and probably get first hand of the jobs. We also put resume writing tips up there pretty much every day.